Hi, so I will be teaching you how to do the realistic style I draw my K-pop drawings in. And I will be using an electronic voice to make it more clear. This video will mostly talk about my digital coloring process, but I will touch on how I sketch things out. I will put timestamps on the screen so you guys can skip to the section you want. First off, how I sketch. I use the grid method. There are many videos on YouTube that explains this better than I can. So I would recommend just looking up one of those. But basically you make a grids and connect the dots. And then put the drawing in grayscale. That is the only way I know how to explain it. And also why sketching isn't the main topic of this video. Secondly, coloring this will take place on a layer above the sketch. You will color drop/I drop the colors from your reference photo onto your drawing. You will repeat this process over and over again. Try to get every shade that's in the photo onto your drawing. What I mean is basically make tiny dots of color on your drawing where that color is on the photo you are referencing. This may take some time. Actually it takes a lot of time, but you will get used to it sooner or later. This is actually the part of the drawing that takes me the longest. But of course that might change because we are different people. But anyways, on to the next step in my process. To duplicate that layer. You can do it twice to be safe, but that is personal preference. I usually do it at most 3 times though. This is so that when you smudge the colors together to make it smooth there won't be any white space under it when the color's on the top of those layers. Basically it makes it look smoother in my opinion. Next step is to smudge the colors on the very top duplicated layers. So if you have 3 layers, this should take place on the 3rd layer. 1 layer for the sketch, 1 for the undercolor, and 1 for the smudge layer. The smudge brush should not be set on full opacity in my opinion, it is too strong, but if it works better for you, go ahead. I like my opacity to usually be at around 40% or so. Also you can color the face and hair in 1 layer and the clothes in another if you want to be more organized and have more layers. But after you have smudged it all together so that it looks smooth or looks like skin at least, then this is where you can fix how the skin looks, because sometimes smudging things can make colors look muted or mucky. Add a layer to your drawing. If an area needs to be lighter or darker color, drop 1 shade from the reference photo. This color needs to be the one that was turned into the muted, lighter, darker, or just color that is missing. Then you need to blur it at 100% opacity. You can fix the opacity of the layer if it is too bright or too dark, but make sure you blur at 100%. The next part is usually the part I give up because I have stared at the drawing so long it starts to bore me and I hate it. So I end up just posting it even though I know it can be better. This part is adding details. You can add these however you like. If you want to do semi-realism instead of just plain realism, then change the details to make it fit your personal style. But I will explain how I do them in case you want to try them out. Basically I change this all the time. Sometimes I edit the drawings in apps to add stickers into them and stuff. Other times I just draw some details. Sometimes I just draw some white highlights and dots and call it highlights and then boom, done. Other times I actually try. Honestly, depending on what type of person you are, this step may change. I personally like to add darker browns and glitters around the eyes to look like makeup, and sometimes add highlights to make it look like lip gloss. I also sometimes darken eyelashes to make the eyes appear more bright. It all really just depends, have fun with it. Well, anyways, I know this probably wasn't the step-by-step guide that people were asking for, but it's something that might help. But if I was you, I wouldn't take advice from a 13-year-old girl that sits in her room at 3 a.m. playing Among Us and is failing school, and since quarantine, can't even form a proper sentence. But goodbye.